Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, Chapter 2, Text number 14. As no purport, I will read for myself. 15 will repeat. Sanketyam paryasyam va tobam melanameva va vaikuntanam agranam aseshaga haram viduhu. Sanketyam as an assignation, pariasyam jokingly, va or stobam as musical entertainment, helanam neglectfully, eva certainly, va or Vaikunta of the Lord, Namagrahanam chanting the holy name, Asesha unlimited, Agaharam neutralizing the effect of sinful life, Viduhu advanced transcendentalists know. Please repeat the translation. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly or to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. Text 15, we'll repeat together. Patitaha skalitaha bhagnaha patitaha skalito bhagna patitaha skalito bhagna sandastaha tapta ahata Sandasta taptasa ahata Sandasta taptahata Harihi iti avesha avasenam aham hariti avasenam Hariti avasena Puman na harati yatana Puman narati yatana Puman narati yatana Patitas kalito bhagna Sandasta taptata Haririti avasena Pumanarati yatana Pumanarati yatana Word to word meaning. Patitaha, fallen down. Skalitaha, slipped. Bhagnaha, having broken his bones. Sandastaha, bitten. Taptaha, severely attacked by fever or similar painful condition. Ahataha, injured. Harihi, Lord Krishna. Iti, thus. Avasena, accidentally. Aha, chants. Uman, a person. Na, not. Arhati, deserves. Yatanaha, hellish conditions. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Please repeat the translation. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering backbones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tvajati ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without such practice, however, if somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from the hellish life after death. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Shashkarumulitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangaite giri yatkripātamande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. The first verse, the translation is like this, text 14. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reaction of unlimited sins. Even if he chants indirectly or to indicate something else, jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully, this is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. So we are reading in this part of Srimad-Bhagavatam. This chapter is entitled Ajamila delivered by Vishnu Dutas. So the power of holy name, the glories of holy name, it is explained in various ways. So here also you see, even if it is said, Sanketyam, Prabhupada translate in the word meaning as assignation, and elsewhere he translates as, in the translation also it translates as indirectly. Indirectly if somebody chants, or unintentionally somebody chants the name of the Lord. Actually this verse says, he will be freed from all sinful reaction immediately. See what a wonderful process we have got. Correct? So 4 things are mentioned here. Unintentionally somebody chant, indirectly chant. A second is parihasyam. Parihasyam means jokingly. Just like we go out for preaching and all, correct? Many times this young kids and all particularly will make fun of Swamijis. They are with Shika because we are little unique, correct? We are looking different from others. We have Shika and all these things. And sometimes they know and they even say Hare Krishna. They chant Hare Krishna. So they also get benefit, this verse says. See how nicely Prabhupada has introduced all these things. A third one, it is mentioned Sthobam. Sthobam means as musical entertainment. In another place, Prabhupada translates as disrespectfully mocking, or sometimes they do mimicry. Correct? Hare Krishna, these people have come. When they see from the far off also, even many donors also they see actually. When we are at the time of construction of this temple, a lot of things used to happen like this. Sometimes donors who want to avoid us, when they see us from the long distance, they will actually hide and all. They run away from the cabin. All these things have happened. Very interesting thing. So these Hare Krishna people have come. Just they saying Hare Krishna. So this verse says they will be actually freed from entering into hellish life. Our fourth one, it is mentioned here, Helanam. Helanam is Prabhupada translates here as neglectfully. Even neglectfully somebody chants the holy name of Lord. In another place Prabhupada translates as neglectfully without love and appreciation. We don't know the details of the names of Lord, glories of the names of the Lord. But even if somebody chants the name of the Lord, actually he will be free from entering into hellish planet. So, Prabhupada explained, generally we do not know what is the power of this holy name. That's why it is mentioned the third line here, Vaikunta Nama Grahanam. Vaikunta referring to the Supreme Lord. Nama Grahanam. Nama Grahanam Prabhupada translates as chanting the holy name. So, we understand from the Sestashtaka also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us, Nam Nam Akhari Bauda Nija Sharva Shaktis. The potency, the holy name has got so much potency. Nam Nam Akhari Bauda. Different name. Lord has many names. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. So, the potency of the holy name, Nam Nam Akhari Bauda Nija Sharva Shakti, has got all the potency. Tatra pitani mita smaranena kala. There is no hard and fast rule. Any time, any place, any circumstances, we can chant. So, we hear this verse many times, correct? The translation very nicely Prabhupada translates. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. See, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living being. And thus you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names such as Krishna and Govinda, in which you have invested all your transcendental energies. Even we chant during morning time, that too in the association of the devotees, the main temple hall. Actually there is. It's something wonderful happening actually. Though we are not chanting attentively, we are not following all those instructions, We are trying actually. But still you feel so much when you finish chanting, when you finish a certain number of rounds together, when you chant in the association of devotees, you feel so surcharged in the morning, correct? So, because Lord has invested all the transcendental energies, and then it is said there is no hard and fast rule for chanting. Oh my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God himself. He has given this process. Krishna, when he appeared, he asked us to surrender. He demanded. Prabhupada explains. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he just asked you, please chant. It doesn't matter in whatever situation you are in. You can easily approach. You enable us to easily approach you, but by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate. See? I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. We have attraction for so many things except Lord actually. That is our difficulty. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, he is Supreme Lord, but he came as an Acharya. So he is teaching us, he is setting us an example. If we have to be attracted to the Vaikuntha Nama Grahanam, we should be attracted, attached to the holy name of the Lord. So, then Prabhupada explains in this context also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regretted that these things are not understood by less intelligent class of men. They think, what is this? Simple, they are chanting some mantra and they are telling this is the highest process, you will get the highest perfection of life. What is this? Because they are less intelligent. Because anybody who is taking to Krishna worship by following the process of the predecessor Acharya, Shastra say they are all very intelligent. Krishna che bhaje va bada chatura. Chatur means very intelligent. But less intelligent class of people, they will not easily understand this. So that's why Prabhupada explained, therefore we have to know Krishna in truth, in tattvataha. The Bhagavad Gita in many places Krishna uses this word, tattvataha. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid etati siddhe etatam api siddhanam kaschinmam veti tattvataha. Manushyanam, out of many, many thousands and thousands of people, hardly few will know, one will know about me. And out of those perfected souls, hardly one will know me in truth. So you just imagine what is our fortune actually. We have not done big tapasya, yajna, all these things, dhana. Bhagavad Gita says we are chanting correct in the 18th chapter. Yajna, dhana, tapa, everybody has to do. Even a highly advanced devotee also has to do. But we don't, at least in this life we didn't do correct. First 20 years or something, we never did anything. We were doing whatever we wanted. But we are fortunate by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, we got this highest thing actually. And out of the one perfected soul, one who knows me in truth. So understanding Krishna, knowing Krishna in truth is very important actually. Not many people, they say, I worship Krishna. That's good actually. There are a lot of people are doing this. Many of us we were also doing before we came in touch. We never but got into detail. But here Bhagavad Gita, very simply it is presented in 700 verses. Who is Krishna, whom we are, what we are supposed to do. Very simple. So, that's why Krishna says, so Prabhupada explained, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His name, form, pastime, attributes, they are all non-different. So you come in touch with any of these things. Just like people go to Dham, Vrindavan, Mayapur, all these things. They even go to Dham, they collect some piece, little dust and all. And this dust is also worshipable. Because Krishna's, it represents actually dust from the lotus feet of Lord. That's why many serious devotees sometimes, actually we have to respectfully, it can be even kept in the altar. They will keep it in the puja room and they will worship. We have to respectfully worship because it's non-different. So all this opportunity Lord has given to us so that's why Prabhupada says, you can't go to Vrindavan by buying a ticket. You may have a ticket here, that's required, that's the process. But Vrindavan going means, Prabhupada explains in a lecture, seeing Vrindavan. What is seeing Vrindavan means? We have to Vishaya Chadiya. We have to give up sense gratification, sense enjoyment. That is seeing Vrindavan. Otherwise, just like people go to Vrindavan, particularly when we take our donors, all these things we are doing. So they will see only externally, what is this, they are telling so much. So before taking them, it is our duty to little mold them, guide them, train them. We have to give all these things. Otherwise, actually, unfortunately, it's not kept properly. Now it's a lot of improvement is there. You go back 30 years and all it was. Not at all. People will, particularly, because devotees will go. We know about all these things from the scriptures. We want to go to Dham. But outsiders, they say, hey, what is this? Water is flowing, gutter is there, this is that. They will see that only. So Vrindavan saving means, Prabhupada explained, we have to give up Vishaya Chadiya. Actually, very nice, two songs are there. Vaishnava Thakur, our Narottam Das Thakur has. We will be familiar with this song also. Prabhupada, actually, few songs Prabhupada has written purport also. For this song and other song also, Prabhupada has written purport. So this verse says here, Vishayacharya kabe shuddha habe mana kabe hama erebo Sri Vindavana. This is the third stanza. Second verse itself, it says, Hara kaba nitai chande karuna hoibe samsara bhasana mora kabe tuchabe. So Prabhupada write, I just read one or two sentences in that second stanza. We are all asking about the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu is supposed to be the original spiritual master. So we have to approach Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya, through the mercy of Nityananda. This is what we have been taught. We can't go to Lord directly. So we have to go through his spiritual master, his associate. So here it is mentioned, we have to go through Nityananda Prabhu. And then Prabhupada writes, Narottam Das Thakur says that the symptom of one who has received the costless mercy of Lord Nityananda is that he has no more material desire. Right now, all of us have a lot of material desires, though we are practicing some spiritual life. Because it is coming from time immemorial. It's all stored. It's coming out. So, if you have to reach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually it is said here that Lord Nityananda is that he has no more material desire. And then Prabhupada writes, Samsara Bhasana means desire for material enjoyment. And Narottam Das wonders when it will become very insignificant. So, Prabhupada, then he writes, of course, as long as we have material body, as long we have bodies, we have to accept so many material things, but not in the spirit of enjoyment. So even as a devotee, we have to carry out our function, our service, allocated service. We will be having some gadgets, all these things. So, but we should be conscious of this, not in the spirit of enjoyment, but to keep the body and soul together, to render the service, whatever is given to us, we should utilize it for that specific purpose. So like that, this second verse. Third verse is very appropriate in today's thing also. Prabhupada mentioned Vishayacharya. So Prabhupada there he writes, as long as the mind is too much absorbed in materialistic thought. See, Lord, we are in the garb of a devotee, but we make a lot of material calculation. Correct? We don't want to follow authority, what it's telling. We want to make our own plan. That's why we are all here. So, here it is mentioned, one cannot enter into the kingdom of Vrindavan. If you make materialistic, if your mind is absorbed in materialistic thought, one cannot enter into the kingdom of Vrindavan. But Narottam Das Thakur says, Vishayacharya, when the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desire, then I shall be able to understand the Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. And then my spiritual life will be successful. So very important thing is, we have been hearing again and again, we have to give up this sense gratification, Vishayacharya, and then we have to chant Krishna's name. So in one more song also, this is Lochan Das Thakura's song. Same idea is mentioned here. And here it is mentioned that, what is that verse? Second. Bajo bajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudada Viswasa Kori Vishaya Chariya Serase Majiya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. See, these acharyas, they are actually writing for all of us. They are all Nitya Siddhas. But they are taking our position. They are telling, I have no attraction for them. I am not free from material desire. They are all free from desire. They are actually setting us an example. They are teaching us. So here Prabhupada, in this also Prabhupada's purport actually this is. So here he writes, I'll just read that portion. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to desired goal. It will. See, just by chanting and dancing, it will lead to desired goal. It will. It is assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all perfection by this process. See, we will achieve all perfection by chanting and dancing. So, wonderful process we have. And then it says, one has to give up engagement in sense gratification. And without any motive, we have to chant Hare Krishna, Hari Hari. So, this is one verse. And in the fourth verse, actually, because we are reading about Yamaraja, the fourth verse, fourth stanza says, Samsara Majiya Rohili Poriya Sepade Nahilo Asa Apana Karama Bunjaye Samana Kahoy Lochan Das. So here Prabhupada writes, Lochan, see here also, Lochan Das Thakur regrets that he is entrapped in sense gratification. See, they are in this mood. He is not entrapped actually. He is getting us freed just by, so that we can understand how we are to, it's poison, Vishaya. Sense gratification is poison, in many places it is mentioned. My dear mind, you are entrapped in this sense gratification process. You have no attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. I can simply think of my misfortune. Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted to this movement. So people who are not getting attracted to our ISKCON Hare Krishna movement, they are actually punished by Yamaraja. This was Prabhupada translates it. Because Maya, this Yamaraja, they are all, Yamaraja is one of the Mahajana. So he is also playing that role. Maya Devi, she is also saying if somebody is sincere, if you want to serve the Lord, so there will be a lot of obstacles there, difficulties in our personal life also when we are practicing Krishna consciousness. So we will try on our own. Actually, we should just surrender to Lord, surrender to devotees, authorities. By doing that, actually, miracle will happen actually. We will get out of that. If you try to do on our own, actually we will not be able to do that. So this is the process actually. And Prabhupada mentions Vishayacharya in another place means we have to give up eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Like that Prabhupada in a lecture says. Right now in the conditioned soul, it is in our current situation, we can't do that. So we have, at least we know that is the ultimate goal. So that's why there is a regulation, regulated way of doing all these things, eating, sleeping. So that is important. Because Prabhupada in one place says, we have to come to the point of nil, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. See? For that, we have to develop the taste. We have to develop this Krishna conscious taste. Then only we will give up all this material taste, sense enjoyment. We can give it up. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, when you get that higher taste, param dishtva nivartate, then we can give up this lower taste. So there also say, Vishya vinivartante. We have to give up that Vishya. Nirarasya deina rasavarjam rasopiyasya param desvani vartade. So when we understand this is the highest thing, then we can easily. So example, there are many examples in the scripture, particularly in the Chaitanya's Leela itself. About Raghunath Das Goswami, you all heard many times. So wonderful. Such a rich person, with the only son of a Jamindar. 500 years before, Prabhupada mentioned his father, his uncle, their income was more than 12 lakhs of rupees. 500 years before. And he had a beautiful wife. But he was not attracted, he was not interested in all these things. He was attracted, he was drawn by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we know in that Paniyati festival, Leela also, he wanted to go whenever he heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming somewhere nearby, near village, he will always go, run away from the house. He is again brought. All these things were happening because he had developed that attraction for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So this is what is brought out in the first verse. Second verse, actually the translation is, if one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune. So few things are mentioned, falling from the top of a house, slipping, suffering broken bones, all these things. One is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. See, here in this Ajamila's pastime, it's very nicely brought out how he was a young Brahmana practicing spiritual life. Unfortunately, he fell down, but he kept his younger son's name Narayana, and he just called out his son's name Narayana, and offenselessly, and he is delivered actually. So in this purport, Prabhupada is quoting from Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. In that Bhagavad Gita purport also, Krishna in the 8.6, Prabhupada mentions that, gives the example of whom? He gives the example who fell down. 8.6, Bhagavad Gita, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. What are consciousness we are in at the time of death? Bharat Maharaj example Prabhupada is giving there, correct? And then two sentence Prabhupada very nicely writes, small purport that in. If one is transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental spiritual. See, if you are absorbed in Krishna's service, chanting, hearing, preaching, all these things, Navavida Bhakti, if you are transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, our next body will be transcendental or spiritual and no more material body. Then Prabhupada at the end of that purport he says, therefore chanting of Hare Krishna is the best process for successfully changing one state of being to transcendental life. So we have, last few verses we have been hearing here, chanting of Hare Krishna, Prabhupada here also in the Bhagavad Gita is writing, is the best process. Prabhupada, see, so much conviction Prabhupada has got. And if we just take this, then it becomes very easy. So Prabhupada explained in a lecture that Bhagavatam never says that you will be saved from death, because we all know we are going to leave this body one day or the other. We will not be saved from death. But the suggestion is that you may not feel much pain. So this is practical. So Prabhupada is writing that this is practical, because when we go and tell people you chant Hare Krishna, initially we will tell it will do good for you, all these things, correct? Some trick we have to use. Somehow if they take to chanting Hare Krishna and if they associate with devotees, start reading Prabhupada books, then you can see yourself, all of us have gone through these things, correct? So Prabhupada says, so this is practical. That's what in today's purport also, last line it is mentioned, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death. Somehow other, ene tene prakarene, we have to just chant Lord's name. So for that we have to practice. It's not that, that's why Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumaram Acharya, right from the young age we have to practice. Otherwise it's very difficult. We can't think, okay, anyhow, I have to remember, he remembered at the age of almost 80, correct? 80 plus, Ajamila remembered. I will also think of Narayana or Krishna at the age of 80. It will not work actually. Because he had done a lot of devotional service, by which Narayana Lord gave him a remembrance to keep his youngest son named as Narayana. Prabhupada explained in the previous chapter. And he was just calling. So he was not committing offense, and helplessly he was calling. So he got the benefit. So particularly we have to be very careful. Prabhupada explained why? Because especially in this modern age, so many opportunities, so many accidents takes place, correct? So you just walk off, slip off from somewhere, you get hurt, you go admitted, you are gone. So death can come any time actually. Many times we come across, particularly elderly people, when they become old, when they go to washroom and all, in the night time and all, it's very common. Few devotees' parents also gave the body like that. So anytime it can come about. So we have to, why? Because material world is designed in such a way. Padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. So Bhagavatam, in that verse also it says, that's why we have to take shelter of Krishna. That's also Prabhupada quotes many times this verse. Samashita e pada palla plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare Krishna. Bhavamdi vatsa padam param padam yad vipadam na tesham. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of Muradhaman, the ocean of material world is like water contained in calves of hoof print. Calves, hoof print. See, calves, small calf is there, we have so many calves now. You just cross the water is not a big deal actually. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikunta, the same thing, Vaikunta Namagraham, here it is mentioned. Vaikunta, the place where there are no material miseries. Not that place where danger at every step. Padam, yad vipadam. So it is bringing out material world at every step there is danger. Whereas in spiritual world, Vaikunta means Vigatakunta, Asmad. So there is no anxiety, no miseries. So that is, and we are all entitled for that. Actually, we were all there in the spiritual world. Somehow we have come down here due to the misuse of independence. So these informations are there in the scripture. If we just try to follow these instructions, actually we can get out of this. Prabhupada gives the example of the Titanic disaster. Correct? Kunti Maharani's prayer is referring in that lecture actually. Who is who of the world were traveling in the Europe somewhere in the Western world? So all rich, thinking rich people. Correct? So when they are going, like people like Ambani, Tata, if they go somewhere, everything will be pakka, everything will be taken care, correct? Before they travel itself, everything, maybe trial run or whatever, they will do all these things. In that, like that, all the rich people were going. And in its first maiden trip itself, it is finished actually. There was a disaster, Titanic, almost 100 years over I think now. So Prabhupada mentioned that. So we may make very nice arrangement in this world, because we are all very smart in those things. But unless Lord wills, unless Lord protects us, see many verses are there for that also. So we should always remember this and carry on with our prescribed duty. So Prahlad Maharaj also in that Kaumaram Acharyat Prajna, that verse itself says, we have got this human form of life. It's very, very rare. Durlabha Manusha Janma. Correct? We have got this. We should not waste this. We should utilize to the full extent. How we should be conscious of Krishna always. We should work on that. Something or the other we should do. Chant, hear, read, do some practical service. From morning till night we have to do that actually. Otherwise, just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this pastime also, with this I will stop, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this past time also, when he got sannyas, he was just chanting, and he met Prakashananda Saraswati in Banaras, and he was a scholar of that time. And he also, a young sannyasi, 24 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was telling, hey, I heard in your younger days you are called Nimai Pandit. You are a Pandit, you are a scholar. But now I see you are just chanting and dancing with all these devotees. What is this? Sannyasi means you have to read Vedanta Sutra. Like that the discussion started. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu humbly said, see, my Guru Maharaj found me to be fool number one. So he said, just chant Hare Krishna, that's all. So I am chanting. Actually, Prabhupada explained, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, is he fool? He is not fool actually. So he played that role. And when there was a chance for discussion with this Prakashananda Saraswati, in that context it is mentioned that around 60,000 of his disciples, they all, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated them in Vedanta Sutra and all these things, Vedic philosophy. So, Prabhupada, he mentioned that chanting and dancing is good for us. But if somebody comes, intelligent person comes and asks some questions, if they speaks from Bhagavad Gita, if they ask some question from Vedanta Sutra, we should be ready to answer. So for that's why I had painstakingly written all these books for you to read. And we should use this and we should preach. So, because the ultimate thing, if you see in that all the discussion also, Krishna also sums up in the Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, Vedecha sarve ameva vedyaha. From all the Veda, from all the scriptures, Krishna is to be known. But you see many Mayavadi scholars, experts, they are very good in discussing philosophy, all these things, but they miss out this important point. So that is the thing. So it's a wonderful, this thing Prabhupada brings out here, that if one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, actually, then also he will be, it is mentioned, one is immediately absolved from having to enter the hellish life, even though he is sinful. So we are all sinful. That's why we are here. So we have got a very nice process. We should have faith, we should have conviction, and many people have been purified. This is what scripture says. So if we follow this, actually we will also reach the highest stage in devotional service. I'll stop here. Granthara Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Yes, Prabhupada.